The Johnson family loved to go camping. Every summer they packed up their tent and drove to a new and exciting place. This year they chose Camp Crystal Lake, a secluded spot high in the mountains.
I promise this will be our best adventure yet.
10-year-old Billy was excited about fishing in the lake. His teenage sister Emma hoped to take amazing photos for her social media. Mum, always prepared, packed extra snacks and bug spray. Dad just looked forward to relaxing by a crackling campfire. The drive was long, but the kids kept themselves busy. Billy told jokes, and Emma listened to music. Mum and Dad sang along to old songs on the radio. They were a happy family, excited about their week in the wilderness. Camp Crystal Lake was like a scene from a postcard. The water was crystal clear, reflecting the blue sky like a mirror. A thick forest surrounded the lake. Tall pine trees stood like silent guardians. The air was filled with the sweet smell of pine needles and damp earth.
This is the perfect spot for our tent.
Emma and Billy helped unpack the car. Mum started to organize their camping gear. Soon, their campsite felt like home. Dad got the campfire going. The flames crackled and popped, casting a warm glow on their faces. They roasted marshmallows and sipped hot chocolate. The stars began to appear in the darkening sky, twinkling like diamonds scattered across a black velvet cloth.
This is the life.
Little did they know their peaceful vacation was about to take a dark turn. As the fire crackled, Karen, their mother, decided to share some local tales. She had a knack for storytelling, her voice rising and falling with each twist and turn. The kids leaned closer, their eyes wide with anticipation.
Legend has it that this lake is haunted.
Emma rolled her eyes, but Billy hung on to every word.
They say that many years ago, a group of teenagers drowned here. Now their souls are trapped, unable to find peace.
She continued, describing strange occurrences reported over the years. Unexplained lights, eerie whispers, and ghostly apparitions appearing on the water's surface. Emma dismissed it as spooky tales, but Billy felt a shiver run down his spine. Even Dad, who usually scoffed at such stories, felt a sense of unease settle upon him. The fire crackled, casting dancing shadows on the trees around them. The wind rustled the leaves, sounding like whispers carried on the night air. As the night deepened, the family retreated to their tent. The sounds of the forest seemed to grow louder. Crickets chirped, owls hooted, and a twig snapped somewhere in the darkness. Billy snuggled deeper into his sleeping bag, his imagination running wild. Emma tried to focus on her phone, but the eerie stories kept replaying in her mind. Every rustle of leaves, every creak of the tent sent shivers down her spine. She found herself jumping at every little sound.
Did you hear that?
Suddenly, a strange glow appeared outside the tent. It flickered and danced, casting an eerie light on the tent walls. Billy held his breath, his heart pounding in his chest. Emma strained to hear what was happening outside, but she couldn't make out any distinct sounds.
It's probably just fireflies.
But deep down, he couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't quite right. Tom, unable to sleep, decided to step outside for some fresh air. The fire had died down, leaving only glowing embers and plumes of smoke. The night was eerily quiet, with only the occasional crackle from the dying fire breaking the silence. A blanket of darkness had fallen over the campsite, making it difficult to see. The tents were mere shadows against the inky blackness, and the stars above seemed distant and cold. He took a few steps towards the lake, drawn by the stillness of the water. The air was cool and crisp, carrying the faint scent of pine and damp earth. That's when he saw them, glowing orbs of light bobbing just above the surface. They seemed to dance and flicker, casting an otherworldly glow on the water. They moved in an unnatural silence, like ghostly eyes peering from the depths. The sight was mesmerizing, yet deeply unsettling. Then a sound pierced the stillness, a low, mournful wail that seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. It was a sound that seemed to resonate with the very core of his being. It sent chills racing down Tom's spine, raising goosebumps on his arms. His heart pounded in his chest, each beat echoing the eerie wail.
He had never heard anything like it before. The sound was both terrifying and strangely beautiful, like a sorrowful song from another world.
Fear gripped him, urging him to run back to the safety of the tent. As he turned to leave, he caught a glimpse of something moving in the shadows near the tree line. His breath caught in his throat as he tried to make sense of what he was seeing. It was a fleeting image, a wispy, translucent figure that vanished as quickly as it appeared. Tom stood frozen, unsure if he had truly seen it or if his mind was playing tricks on him.
"We need to leave. Now!" he gasped, his voice shaking with urgency. Tom stumbled back to the tent, his heart pounding in his chest. He burst through the flap, his face pale and his eyes wide with terror.
His panicked outburst jolted the rest of the family awake. They could see the fear etched on his face, the raw terror in his eyes. Without another word, they scrambled out of their sleeping bags and began throwing their belongings into their bags. The strange noises from the lake intensified. The wails grew louder, the rustling in the trees sounded closer. Something was out there, something that sent shivers down their spines and filled them with primal fear. They piled into the car, their movements fueled by adrenaline and terror. As Tom started the engine, he could have sworn he saw those eerie orbs floating closer, their glow illuminating the frantic scene. As they sped away from Camp Crystal Lake, the headlights cutting through the darkness, Karen finally revealed what she knew. The tension in the car was palpable, each person holding their breath, waiting for her to speak.
Years ago, she began, her voice trembling slightly, there was a terrible accident here. It was a night much like this one, dark and stormy, with an ominous feeling in the air. A group of teenagers went out on the lake in a canoe, laughing and unaware of the danger that awaited them. A storm rolled in, and the canoe capsized. The waves were relentless, and the dark clouds loomed ominously overhead.
Her voice cracked with emotion, the weight of the story pressing down on her.
No one survived. The campsite was abandoned, the cabins left empty, and the lakeside area became desolate. Locals say their spirits never left the lake. They believe the mist that rises from the water is a sign of their presence. They say they're trapped here, forever searching for peace. The haunting figures are a constant reminder of the tragedy.
She had heard these stories whispered amongst the townspeople, but she had never truly believed them until now. The eerie setting of the town only added to her growing fear. The kids listened in stunned silence, their eyes wide with fear and disbelief. The reality of Karen's story sank in, sending a fresh wave of fear through them. They could almost feel the cold grip of the lake's spirits. The lake wasn't just a setting for spooky campfire tales. It was a place of genuine tragedy and sorrow. The mist that hovered over the water seemed to carry the weight of the past. The car sped through the night, leaving the haunted shores of Camp Crystal Lake behind. But the sense of dread lingered. But the memory of that night, the eerie sounds, the ghostly lights, and the feeling of being watched would stay with them forever. The forest seemed alive with whispers, as if the spirits were following them. The drive home was filled with a tense silence. The usually talkative family was lost in their thoughts, replaying the events of the night in their minds. The air inside the car was thick with unspoken fears and unanswered questions. Every rustle of leaves outside the car window made them jump. Every shadow seemed to hold a hidden menace. The darkness of the forest seemed to close in on them, as if it were alive and watching their every move. Even though they were safe in the car, speeding away from Camp Crystal Lake, they couldn't shake the feeling that a part of that night was coming home with them. The road ahead seemed endless, and the safety of their home felt like a distant dream. The experience had left an indelible mark on their souls, a chilling reminder that some places hold secrets best left undisturbed. Their eyes, once filled with joy, now carried a haunted look, a reflection of the terror they had faced. They returned to their normal lives, but things were different. The comfort of their home no longer provided the solace it once did. Conversations were shorter, and laughter was rare. The memory of that night lingered, casting a shadow over their once carefree spirits. They found themselves constantly looking over their shoulders, haunted by the feeling that they were never truly alone. Camp Crystal Lake was no longer a place of happy memories, but a chilling reminder of the darkness that can lurk beneath the surface of even the most beautiful places. The once serene waters now seemed to whisper secrets of the past. They had gone seeking adventure, but they found something far more unsettling. A glimpse into a world beyond our understanding, a world where the line between the living and the dead is blurred. The forest, once a place of wonder, had become a realm of nightmares.